in relation to the possibility of us reducing the burden in terms of treatment prices, in the country? Because then this is not the first time we're discussing this, and I know we progressively get somewhere, but do you realistically think that as a country we are well positioned, first of all, to address this concern in terms of treatment and the prices that come along with that, but as well in terms of just detecting and perhaps avoiding this? Because then we're also saying that we are focusing much on preventive care more than that level where it gets to curative.
It is fair to say that the government makes policy. The people have to implement policy, and then in between we have to facilitate. We just heard to say that the care was expensive, beyond my reach. So if the government makes policy to say we will have mammography for breast cancer, colonoscopy for colon cancer, and pap smear for cervical cancer, but if it's very expensive, then that policy cannot be implemented to reduce the burden of care. But also it depends upon the population itself. What is our level of knowledge about cancer? 1 in 30 women will develop breast cancer. 1 in 35 will develop cervical cancer. 1 in 10 population, and we see here we've got about 100, 1 in 10 will die of cancer down the road. So what do we know about cancer? We know that the most common cancer in Kenya is breast cancer. The only way to detect it early is mammography. So I believe the policies of the government should allow mammography to be cheaper so that we can detect it early. And then we can prevent it, not prevent it, but at least detect it early, stage 1, stage 2. Patient can be cured and have a productive life, pay taxes. So really it benefits everybody. What about pap smear? The best way to eradicate cervical cancer is vaccination. Cervical cancer is caused by the HPV virus. We vaccinated ourselves against COVID. Otherwise, we were dying. What about cervical cancer? If we did vaccinate our children at the young age, 98% of cervical cancer would be eradicated. Well, we have not reached that stage because there's all kinds of social controversies about vaccinating against cervical cancer. So I think what we need to do as a population, look at new knowledge, to be able to really implement that knowledge, and then certainly the government can do their part to facilitate, to make these applications much cheaper, affordable for the patient who needs them the most.
All right, pretty much good. I think that brings us to the research bit. Then we'll come back to you, of course, to get to understand that element of diagnosis that you have highlighted. But basically, when we're looking at this, and the research ladies are here seated, and one would want to ask at this very point, Kebri, just how much has the government been serviced